Cool. Wave optics, another easy topic. um, Out of this topic, what is there in your advanced syllabus is roughly, like you can say, 50% of the chapter, and then the remaining part of the chapter that we'll also do is what will be specific to your main syllabus only. But we're gonna let's in a way start with what's there in the what's common to both. No, the chapter is not lengthy. Again, as I said, the main meaty, the conceptual part is basically what's in your advanced syllabus. What is in your main syllabus? There are a bunch of small topics, and they aren't very conceptual. It's going to be more of formula based. In fact, some we won't even be able to see where the derivations come from, but it's more of just formula based stuff. So it's not a big chapter. ठीक है, एडवांस के लिए 2-3 important concepts हैं. They are more, that's where good questions can come. But then after that, the mains part will have very straightforward formula based questions as well. So it's made up of smaller, a lot of small concepts. Okay? As such, it's not a lengthy chapter, and we should be able to finish this over the next 3 weeks before your MT. Okay? So roughly five lectures में hopefully हो जाएगा, 5 or 6 में hopefully हो जाएगा. So but we need to be a little fast. Okay. Yeah, so starting with light. Light is an electromagnetic transverse wave. We already saw this. We saw the way light propagates, you have an electric field which oscillates and a magnetic field which oscillates. Right, so here there are no particles oscillating. What is actually oscillating is an electric and a magnetic field, which is what makes light an electromagnetic wave. Okay. In your mains, there's going to be another chapter called as EM waves, where we'll study this in a little bit more detail. We'll see how what is the amplitude of E, what is the amplitude of M, how they relate with each other, what is the energy of this wave, what is the intensity. So there's another chapter called as EM waves, where we look at that in a little bit more detail. But that is not the scope of this particular chapter. That's not the scope of this chapter. All right, so here we are just I'm just mentioning, just reminding you that this is an electromagnetic wave, and we're not going to dig deeper into this. But basically, this time there are no particles oscillating to and fro. It's your electric and magnetic field which is in this way oscillating as light propagates in the forward direction. So for that reason, it's not a mechanical wave because it does not require particles. It's an electromagnetic wave. It can therefore travel in vacuum as well, right? That's how light rays from the sun reaches the earth. Moreover, it's a transverse wave. Unlike sound, where oscillations were in the direction of propagation, यहाँ पे again oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So you can see, if your light is moving in the X direction, electric field is oscillating in the Y direction, magnetic field in the Z direction. So that's kind of what is going on. All right. So electric field, magnetic field का directions आपस में perpendicular है, and yes Gaurav, yes, ठीक है, E and M आपस में perpendicular है और light के velocity के भी perpendicular है. So just reading my statement, it comprises of an electric field wave and a magnetic field wave oscillating in phase with one another. You can see how both are at their extreme positions, then both are together at the mean position. Again, both are together at extreme positions, both are together at the mean positions. They are in a way in phase. एक साइन ग्राफ है, दूसरा भी साइन ग्राफ है, दूसरा कॉस ग्राफ नहीं होगा. So both are in phase with one another. The axes, each field oscillates along, that's Y and Z, and the direction of propagation, that's our x-axis, they're all mutually perpendicular. So E ka direction, M ka direction, and x-axis, propagation ka direction, mutually perpendicular. Okay. More detail, we'll see this in more detail in another chapter called as EM waves. This is just like an introduction. I'm just mentioning this. That said, the wave equation of light can be represented by how the electric field varies with position and time. Okay, so you're used to seeing how in waves on a string we used to write y as a function of time. And y coordinate of the particle was a sine omega t minus kx. Then in sound we were seeing how the pressure can be written as a function of time and x. The pressure was p naught sine omega t minus kx. And yape we're going to write similarly, since electric field is oscillating, है electric field is going to be written as a function of time and x. So E is going to be E naught sine omega t minus kx. E naught sine omega t minus kx, where E naught is the electric field amplitude. Okay. C is the velocity of light. Velocity of light in vacuum is c. तो v के जगह पर c यूज कर रहे हैं. But basically E is E naught sine omega t minus kx. That's our electric field amplitude. You could write the same for magnetic field, but the convention is we normally write it for electric field. Okay, whenever you represent light wave, we normally talk about the electric field, because electric field is in a way more common, more popular. We talk about that first. And another reason you will understand once we see EM waves is actually magnetic field का जो amplitude है वो बहुत छोटा है. The amplitude of the magnetic field comes out to be very small. So that's why we focus on light as more of an, I mean, it's both of course, but while writing his equation, we focus on the electric field wave part. Magnetic field का वैसा ही equation रहेगा, E के जगह E naught के जगह B naught रहेगा. ठीक है? And its direction of oscillation will be perpendicular to E. But this is our focus. Okay, this is what we're going to keep our electric field. This is what we're going to keep our light wave equation as. Okay, in this chapter. The first line of the second para is comprises. First line, the wave equation of light can thus be represented by how the electric, are you talking about this? Sorry. Can thus be represented by, and it compromises नहीं है, it comprises. Thanks. Comprises. Let's see also where this is getting uploaded. So sound waves के बगल में, there's another chapter called as light waves. वहाँ पे upload हो जाएगा. I have to delete the previous page that I uploaded. Okay. So very simple stuff. A lot of this is similar to what we have done in the previous chapters. Same equations there. Velocity is f lambda. फिलहाल as long as light is in vacuum, velocity को हम c बोल सकते हैं. तो c is f lambda, right? And frequency can be written by as 1 upon time period. So c is lambda by time period. Then velocity is also omega by k, right? That was another important equation in waves. The same funda hai. Omega and time period were related to each other by t is 2 pi by omega, and k was also defined as lambda is 2 pi by k. So same set of equations. Okay, same set of relations. So nothing drastically new over here. Very similar to our general understanding of waves. यहाँ पे instead of talking about y coordinate of pressure, we'll be just looking at how the electric field is changing with time and x. That will characterize the wave equation. Okay, any doubt on this page? जल्दी लिख लो. Let me know once you're done writing. Done. Okay. Sama Singh done. Anyone wants me to wait? जल्दी लिखो. And whoever said wait when you're done, say done. Okay. Now, yeah, thanks. Now let's see the effect of refractive index. Okay. So as light enters a new medium, its frequency, time period, and angular frequency do not change. We have seen this in geometrical optics as well. Okay, we made a big deal there as well. And in general, whenever we've seen, even when we had when we had a traveling wave going from a light string to a heavy string, तभी भी we have seen कैसे lambda change होता है, velocity change होता है, but lambda change होता है, velocity change होता है, but frequency कभी change नहीं होता है. So frequency never changes when you're changing the medium, and this was explained when we looked at waves on a string as well. Remember that frequency never changes. Medium change में frequency never changes. Before I proceed, one of you is asking, sir, magnetic field का equation भी लिखा जा सकता है? बिल्कुल लिखा जा सकता है. बिल्कुल magnetic field का भी equation लिखा जा सकता है, but it's just convention, we stick to the electric field. Okay, electric field is like the more obvious one that comes to mind. You study electric field before you study magnetic field, right? So for that reason, if we had to pick one, people pick the electric field and stick to that. Moreover, you'll also see in EM waves की magnetic field का जो actual magnitude है, amplitude है, वो काफी छोटा है. So in that sense, electric field seems more prominent. Okay, so makes sense to look at it that way. All right. Coming back to this, yes, frequency is the same as the frequency of the source. Frequency is the same as the frequency of the source. बिल्कुल. ठीक है, तो फ्रीक्वेंसी जो सोर्स का था वही फ्रीक्वेंसी कंटिन्यू होगा, और मीडियम चेंज में फ्रीक्वेंसी कभी चेंज नहीं होता है. तो फ्रीक्वेंसी से रिलेटेड क्वांटिटीज, फ्रीक्वेंसी का रेसिप्रोकल, दैट इज टाइम पीरियड, and frequency into 2 pi, that is the angular frequency omega, these will never change, these will remain the same. So frequency T and omega will remain the same. What can change, of course, is velocity lambda and k. Okay, so if let's say in vacuum, you know ki velocity lambda and k would be lambda and k respectively, whereas in the next medium, jiska refractive index is given to us as mu, let's say those quantities were v dash, lambda dash, and k dash respectively. Now, how do these quantities relate? How is v dash, lambda dash, and k dash? How are they related to v, lambda, and k? So for that, remember your basics, which we saw in geometrical optics. This was the definition of refractive index. It's the ratio with which velocity decreases. Velocity is inversely proportional to mu. एयर वैक्यूम का म्यू सबसे कम है, वैक्यूम में वेलोसिटी सबसे ज्यादा है. और कोई मीडियम का म्यू अगर 3 है तो वहां का वेलोसिटी c/3 है. वेलोसिटी is inversely proportional to mu. Moreover, velocity when frequency is constant, velocity is directly proportional to lambda, because v is f lambda, right? So v is directly proportional to lambda. And moreover, lambda is inversely proportional to k because lambda is 2 pi by k. So you have these relations with you by which you can see कि since velocity is now directly proportional to mu, v dash is going to be v by mu. Vacuum का 1 था, है ना? So when I enter this new medium, the refractive index became mu times. The velocity becomes 1 by mu times. V dash is v by mu. V dash is v by mu. Similarly, lambda is also inversely proportional to mu. So lambda dash is also lambda by mu. Lambda dash is also lambda by mu. But finally, the most important one is how k ends up being directly proportional to mu. Like lambda is inversely proportional to mu, lambda is inversely proportional to k. तो दो inverse के कारण ये directly proportional हो जाता है. K is directly proportional to mu. जिसका मतलब k dash is going to be k mu, and that's going to be an important point in this chapter. So remember that k dash is going to be k mu. If light of wave number k enters a medium of refractive index mu, it enters from vacuum. From vacuum, it enters into a medium of refractive index mu. तो उस medium में wave number k mu हो जाएगा. K becomes k mu in a medium of refractive index mu. Okay, we're going to stress on that point in the following pages as well. But यहाँ पे just one more thing I'd want to stress is if one thing I'd like to stress is if you know that mu1, sorry, अगर पहले medium का refractive index mu1 है और दूसरे medium का refractive index mu2 है, मान लो ऐसा सवाल दिया. Now these questions are actually quite rare. Okay, it's just a variation. Typical questions में you go from vacuum to another medium, but if they are making go from medium 1 to medium 2, it's just a variation. You're comfortable working with vacuum. So how do we convert this into a question of vacuum? So you'll convert it into a question of vacuum and some medium by using relative refractive index. तो तुम mu1 का refractive index को 1 की तरह ले लो और दूसरे medium का refractive index को इसके respect में क्या होगा वो ले लो. तो इसका refractive index relative to the first medium will be mu2 by mu1. Okay. Alright, so second medium ka refractive index relative to the first is mu2 by mu1. Okay, mu2 by mu1 is refractive index of 2 relative to 1. So if you get a question like this, you can treat it as a question like this. mu1 को 1 से replace कर लो, mu2 को mu2 by mu1 से replace कर लो. Then it becomes similar to vacuum and another medium. Vacuum and a glass slab की तरह हो जाएगा, है ना? 2 glass slab की जगह vacuum और 1 glass slab की तरह हो जाएगा. And then you can solve the question. मतलब अगर अब इसमें light का refractive wave number k है, तो यहाँ पे second medium में उसका अगर wave number चाहिए होगा, तो treat this question as if light is going from 1 to mu2 1. First medium में अगर refractive index k है, second medium में refractive index k dash हो जाएगा k times mu2 के जगह k times relative mu2. mu2 का refractive index relative to 1. So it will be mu2 by mu1. K dash is going to be k times mu2 by mu1. Okay, k dash is going to be k times mu2 by mu1. So just giving you, I mean, this is one. Yes, or another thing you can of course say is you can say k is directly proportional to mu. उससे भी यही रिश्ता आएगा. K is directly proportional to mu. या k by mu का ratio is constant. तो दूसरे medium का k by दूसरे medium का mu is पहले medium का k by पहले medium का mu. Of course, you can. These are all alternate ways of saying the same thing. You use your own methods. ठीक है? तो या तो directly k is directly proportional to mu से काम कर लो. Yeah, another advice I could give is if if you get scared looking at, if you're used to vacuum and glass and you get scared when there are two different refractive indices, go ahead, make it a vacuum and glass question. Okay, you want to make the first medium vacuum, then divide both refractive indices by mu1. You want to make the first medium vacuum, divide both refractive indices by mu1. When you do that, iska 1 rahega, uska mu2 by mu1 ho jayega. That works. You'll still get the same, result. Okay, it's like you are in this medium, you're in, let's say, water. तो तुम्हारे लिए ये mu2 का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स की तरह नहीं दिखेगा, बट mu2 relative to 1, mu2 by mu1 का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स की तरह दिखेगा. एंड देन यू आर सॉल्विंग द क्वेश्चन. एक एग्जांपल है अगले पेज पे, वो ट्राई करेंगे, थोड़ा समझ में आएगा. ग्रीन पार्ट रिपीट करना था यार. B is inversely proportional to mu, ये रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स का डेफिनेशन होता है. If mu is 2, velocity becomes half. Mu is triple, 3 times, velocity becomes 1/3 in that medium. जितना ज्यादा mu, उतना dense medium, उतना धीरे velocity. After the green part to go down. So because V is inversely proportional to mu, V dash in any medium is velocity in vacuum by mu. Similarly, lambda dash in the second medium is lambda in vacuum by mu. है ना, refractive index mu times हो गया, तो ये quantities by mu times हो गया, divided by mu times हो गया. And K is therefore directly proportional to mu because K is inversely proportional to lambda. तो जैसा refractive index mu times हो गया, वैसे ही K भी mu times हो गया. And the only point I mention is, if यहाँ पे vacuum नहीं है, तो सेम चीज करो, बस इधर mu के जगह mu relative निकाल दो. अगर यहाँ पे mu1 है तो यहाँ पे mu by mu1 कर दो. एक क्वेश्चन करोगे तो थोड़ा समझ में आएगा. बट यू गॉट द आइडिया ऑफ द फ्लेवर ऑफ व्हाट आई एम मेंशनिंग ओवर हियर. एनी लिंगरिंग डाउट्स ऑन दिस पेज? Whoever asked me to explain again, did you get it? Lambda dash is lambda by mu. Yes, lambda dash is lambda by इसका mu. Lambda in vacuum by medium का mu. मतलब मैं of course technically inversely proportional. तो lambda dash by lambda is पहले मीडियम का mu by first medium का mu, दूसरे मीडियम का mu. सेकेंड मीडियम का lambda by first medium का lambda is first medium का mu by second medium का mu. Simple ratio proportion. So try out one question. Let's see this. Okay. So let me just zoom in. So you're given mu, and you're given mu is 3 for the first medium, mu is 2 for the second medium. Velocity in the first medium is 1.2 into 10 raised to 8. K is 2 into 10 power 8 meter inverse. ये सब SI units में है. Find V dash, find K dash, and then find lambda dash. Find V dash, K dash, and then you can use K dash to find lambda dash. Lambda dash चाहिए in nanometers. Try कर लो. तो तुम रेशियो प्रोपोर्शन से कर सकते हो, और इफ यू वांट you can use mu relative. You can take the first medium's refractive index as 1 and the second medium's refractive index as relative mu. वो भी चलेगा. Gaurav, that's right. Yeah, Puna, that's right. Sanidhya, that's right. Sanika, that's right. Great. I mean, simple. It's just calculation based. You guys can check if you've understood what is to be done. Basically, क्या करेंगे? How would we approach this? Yes, Sonti, I think. Yeah, in fact, I think yours is correct. 4.71 जिसने बोला था वो 10 power minus 8 के terms में होगा. We can just check. So 47.1 nanometers या 15 pi nanometers is the answer. तो क्या करेंगे? First medium का refractive index 1 ले लेंगे. We'll treat that as 1. Okay, this is how I like doing it. We can use simple ratio proportion as well. But first medium का refractive index is 1. So second medium का refractive index relatively is mu2 by mu1, 2 by 3. Okay. Don't worry about this being less than 1. Relative refractive indices can of course be less than 1. तो पहले का 1 है, दूसरे का 2 by 3 है. फंडा वही है. B dash in this medium is V by mu. So it's V by relative refractive index. So 1.2 into 10 raised to 8 upon 2 by 3 will give the answer as 1.8 into 10 raised to 8. Okay. Those who wanted to use ratio proportion, they could have said V is inversely proportional to mu. So V dash by V, दूसरे का velocity by पहले का velocity is पहले का refractive index by दूसरे का refractive index. And V is 1.2. तो वहां से भी 1.8 आएगा. Use whatever you find logical, whatever is more natural to you. Okay. Yeah. K भी एक बार देखते हैं. K भी हाँ रेशियो प्रोपोर्शन से बिल्कुल आना चाहिए. जैसे K is directly proportional to mu. So दूसरे का K by पहले का K is दूसरे का mu by पहले का mu. So K dash is actually 2K by 3. K dash is actually 2K by 3. I'm also getting it this way. I can say कि K dash जैसे पिछले पेज पे देखा था K dash K mu है, but यहाँ पे relative refractive index is mu to 1, so K dash is K relative refractive index, and relative refractive index is 2 by 3. तो वहाँ पे भी मुझे आ रहा है K into 2 by 3. K into 2 by 3. So basically K was already 2 into 10 power 8. That into 2 by 3 makes it 4 by 3 into 10 power 8. So 1.33 into 10 power 8 meter inverse is K dash, whichever way you do it. Once you have K dash, directly find lambda dash because lambda dash is 2 pi by K dash. Okay? Some of you may have found lambda and then used lambda to get lambda dash, but that's slightly longer given that we already have K dash. Lambda dash is 2 pi by K dash. So 2 pi by 4 by 3 into 10 to the power 8. 2 and 4, 2 हो जाएगा. नीचे से 3 ऊपर जाएगा तो 3/2 pi into 10 power minus 8 meters is the answer. Okay, 3/2 pi is 4.71. Okay, 3 into 1.5 is 4.5 and 0.14 into 1.5 is 0.21. तो वहां से 4.71 into 10 power minus 8 और उसको नैनोमीटर में लिखोगे तो एक 10 मल्टीप्लाई कर लो और उधर 10 power minus 9 कर लो 47.1 nanometers. Okay? So normally wavelength is often given in nanometers. And that's a more common unit for wavelength because wavelength of visible light, in fact, in general lies between 400 and 700 nanometers. So those are values we are more. Those are units we'll see more often. Okay? Nanometers we'll see more often for wavelength. But any doubt left in this? Got the idea? ठीक है, this is not often. Rare है, हर बार ऐसा नहीं होगा कि हर है ना, मतलब वैक्यूम नहीं है, वैक्यूम नहीं है, ऐसा ऑफन नहीं होगा. Majority of the questions will have vacuum. This is just in a way just exposing you to a situation where what if the first medium was not vacuum but it was some other liquid, then what would we do? So you can easily treat it, you can convert it into a question where the first medium is vacuum, but you just need to adjust the refractive index of the second medium then accordingly. See? All right. Okay. No doubts. Let's move on to the next one. So now, ये एक बहुत ही important सा point है. The phase difference between 2 points x distance apart along the line of propagation, मतलब along the path of light, 2 points x distance apart, उनके बीच में phase difference क्या होगा? First and foremost, when it is in vacuum, okay, when they are in vacuum, we already know that phase difference 2 points x distance apart is kx. This is a funda of waves itself. We can learn this in waves. All right, so 2 points x distance apart, phase difference is kx. Same point t time apart, phase difference is omega t. But 2 points at a snapshot. This is a snapshot of time, a snapshot of the wave. As light propagates at a particular instant, 2 points x distance apart, उनके बीच में phase difference kx होगा. Okay. Now, this is what you'll have in vacuum. What will be the phase difference between 2 points when they are in another medium? What will be the phase difference between those 2 points if they are in another medium? So let's say that they are in a medium of refractive index mu. Okay, let's say they are in a medium of refractive index mu and उनके बीच में path difference x है, same 2 points. इनके बीच में इस बार phase difference क्या होगा? Same idea है, phase difference between A and B will be अब इस medium में k times x, वहां पे vacuum में k times x था, अब इस बार इस medium में k times x होगा, so it will be k dash x. But based on what we have just seen, k dash is k into mu. So if I have to write it in terms of vacuum ka k, it will be vacuum ka k into mu into x. Now writing it in this form, I can also in a way say कि ये जो phase difference आ रहा है between these 2 points in that medium is k times mu x, matlab it's actually the same as the phase difference you see in vacuum between 2 points separated by a distance of mu x. Okay, let me just explain this once more. There is no subscript, ये सब multiplication है, ठीक है, कुछ subscript नहीं है. और कहाँ से आ रहा है एक बार वापस explain कर लेता हूँ. और उसके पहले भी एक और डाउट क्या था कि फेज डिफरेंस इज ऑफ द सेम वेव एट पॉइंट ए एंड बी। बिल्कुल यस, ये एक ही लाइट वेव है। ये लाइट वेव जो है, लाइट वेव के पाथ के अलोंग दो पॉइंट लिया है, उनके बीच में फेज डिफरेंस एट एन इंस्टेंट इज k टाइम्स the distance between the points, k times x. Okay, so phase difference between 2 points separated by a distance x is kx. Phase difference between 2 points separated by a distance x in vacuum is k dash x. Vacuum nahi, is phase difference between 2 points, let's say in glass. Okay, phase difference between 2 points separated by distance x in glass is k dash x. k dash होगा ग्लास का k. ओके, अब अगर मुझे वैक्यूम के k के टर्म्स में लिखना है, so I'll have to use k dash as k times mu. That's what we saw on the previous page. K dash is k times mu. Now if you look at this result, a और b के बीच में in vacuum phase difference is kx, a और b के बीच में in another medium phase difference is k mu x. But isn't k mu x also going to be the phase difference if A and B are in vacuum, but they are separated by distance mu x? इसमें जो phase difference आता है और इसमें जो phase difference आ रहा है, they are one and the same. So in other words, from a phase difference perspective, traveling x distance in a medium of refractive index mu is the same as traveling mu x distance in vacuum. From a phase difference perspective, traveling x distance in a medium of refractive index mu is the same as traveling mu into x distance in vacuum. Is the same as traveling mu into x distance in vacuum. Did you guys get this? यहाँ पे x distance चलने के कारण जो phase difference आता है, it's similar to vacuum में mu x distance चलने के कारण जो phase difference आता है. Okay, all right. So when you see a situation like this, we will call x as the geometric length traveled. Okay, we'll call x as the geometric length traveled, क्योंकि a और b के बीच में actually कितना distance है, geometrically कितना particle, मतलब कितना travel कर रहे हैं हम लोग, geometrically x travel कर रहे हैं. So we'll call x as the geometric length traveled, but from a phase difference perspective, what is this actually as good as? This is as good as traveling, this is as good as traveling mu x. So mu x is going to be the optical length traveled. Okay, ठीक है, ये terminology next page पे भी थोड़ा define किया है. A से B जो distance है, उसको हम geometric length बोलेंगे. X is the geometric length, but this is as good as actually traveling mu x in vacuum. So we will say while x is the geometric length, mu x is the optical length. X is as good as mu x. Like for an example, if I have to take like an alternate example which does not involve optics, imagine that. Just imagine कि your speed in water, if you're trying to run underwater, your speed is, let's say, 1/20. You just imagine your speed underwater is 1/20. So your speed in water is 1/20th of your running speed, जिसके कारण let's imagine कि we can define the refractive index of water for your running as 20, because when you run in water you run 20 times slower. It's denser for you. Now let's say you're trying to work out. In fact, this is one of these exercises that you can see sometimes athletes do. They run in an underwater treadmill, because running the same distance in water is an even better workout. There's a lot of viscous force, a lot of opposition that you have to work against. So this ऐसा just मान लो कि तुम एक कोई एथलीट पानी के अंदर 10 मीटर दौड़ता है, ठीक है, तो 10 meters is his geometrical length is the geometrical path length he has covered. ठीक है, but if he tells his coach मैं 10 मीटर दौड़ा, कोच बोलेगा ये क्या बकवास है, 10 मीटर तो कोई भी दौड़ेगा. But what was that 10 meters actually equivalent to? It was like 10 meters under water, where imagine you're 20 times slower. So I mean, just imagine कि you need 20 times more effort to run underwater, right? So ये जो 10 मीटर के रेट पे वो दौड़ रहा है पानी के अंदर, the workout, the effect of that is actually equal to running mu into 10 is as good as running 200 meters on land. So you get the idea, है ना? Running 10 meters in water, running 10 meters on land is not the same. There'll be a conversion factor, right? So that conversion factor for us is mu. Just like if I were to run 10 meters in water, it would be similar to running 200 meters on land, let's say. So that conversion factor I'm taking as 20. Running 1 meter in water is like running 20 meters on land. वैसा ही from a phase difference perspective, that conversion factor is mu. If mu for a slab is 20, then 1 meter आगे जाने में inside the slab जितना phase difference आता है, उतना 20 मीटर जाना पड़ेगा vacuum में with the same phase difference. I hope you got the idea. Moving x distance in mu is the same as moving mu x distance in vacuum. Okay, it's like moving 1 meter in water is like 20 meters in air. वैसे ही, that's the idea. So coming to this page, let's define two terms: geometrical path difference and optical path difference. Okay, तो geometrical path difference, इसको short में GPD लिख रहा हूं. Okay, when light from two coherent sources or the same source. So if you remember, coherent means when two things have the same frequency and they have the same phase, they are in the same phase, right? So when that means if you were to combine the light immediately coming out of the two sources, you would get a constructive interference. And that's what coherent means. When somebody is giving a speech and we say his arguments are coherent, that means each argument is supporting the other. Together they combine and form a very strong case. That's when his debate or his speech is coherent. If his arguments were incoherent, that means there is no logical flow, there's no consistency. He's contradicting himself. One argument is breaking down another argument. Okay, so that's incoherence. So वैसे ही जैसे English में coherence होता है, वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी coherence है. Coherence is when the light coming from the two sources are in phase. At the source itself, they are in phase and they are of the same frequency. Okay. When these either they come from two coherent sources, or another practical way of achieving two coherent sources using the same source. Use the same source. So naturally, the light coming from the same source but traveling through different paths, that light would be coherent at the source. So either way, when this light ultimately interferes at some point, the difference in the lengths of the two paths traveled is called as geometrical path difference. तो बेसिकली जो भी हम साउंड में करते थे, साउंड में ऐसा कोई मीडियम चेंज का सवाल था ही नहीं, है ना? साउंड में करते थे, that was all geometrical path difference. Delta x so far was only geometrical path difference. Difference in lengths of the two paths traveled. अब optical path difference क्या हो गया? So optical path difference के लिए when we include the effect of medium changes along with our geometrical path difference, we get the optical path difference. When we include the effect of medium changes along with our geometrical path difference, we get the optical path difference. Okay. So if we take into account कि यार चलो मतलब person A ran 5 meters more than person B. Okay, that's geometric path difference. But then if you tell me ki person A ran 5 meters more than person B, and person A was running in water and person B was running in air, then that means something very different, right? Then that's a completely different equation. So I'll need to then take into account कि यार person A पानी में दौड़ा, है ना? That is मतलब पानी में 10 मीटर दौड़ना, वो 200 मीटर on land की तरह दौड़ना हो गया. So I'll have to take into account the fact that he was in a different medium. So when we include the effect of medium changes along with the geometric path difference, then we get optical path difference. So optical path difference जो है the final important thing which decides the phase difference. This is the actual path difference delta x, which will ultimately decide our phase difference. Okay, so optical path difference is the final important one. ठीक है, medium changes account में लेने के बाद जो finally path difference आता है, that is the one which will affect delta x, because phase changes with different rates in different mediums. So you need to take into account medium change. अब कैसे, how do we, this is all theory, how do we take into account medium change? देखो example देखो, बहुत सिंपल है. तो पहले एक सिंपल केस मान लो जहां पे लाइट S1 और S2 से आ रहा है और इस पॉइंट पे इंटरसेक्ट, मतलब इस पॉइंट पे मीट हो रहा है. Let's say it travels x1 distance from S1 and x2 distance from S2. So geometrically our path difference is x1 minus x2. Okay, by the way, whenever I keep track of my path difference, this time let's just keep track, as we're keeping track, let's keep track of what we are subtracting with what. Okay, it's okay if a path difference is going to be negative, फर्क actually उतना पड़ेगा नहीं, we'll see soon, but just keep track of what minus what. So when I'm saying x1 minus x2, ये x1 minus x2 किसका ज्यादा है? upper ray minus lower ray का path difference x1 minus x2 है. मैंने upper ray minus lower ray परफॉर्म किया है, बैक ऑफ द माइंड में उसका ट्रैक रखो. x1 minus x2 इतना upper ray ज्यादा चल रहा है, या x2 minus x1 इतना lower ray ज्यादा चल रहा है. Okay, so right now I'm just keeping track of upper ray कितना ज्यादा चल रहा है. तो geometric path difference आ जाएगा x1 minus x2. Optical path difference okay, and I'm just reading out a doubt, sir, but where they interfere x1 is equal to x2, ऐसा क्यों? As both have traveled the same x to reach the point? Absolutely not. Yeah, point is the same. x2 and x1 are the lengths of these lines. The distance of the source from that point can be different, no? वो है x1 x2. x2 अलग distance travel कर रहा है यहाँ तक पहुंचने में, x1 अलग distance travel कर रहा है यहाँ तक पहुंचने में. Got it? There's a path difference, the lines are of different lengths. नहीं, if they come from the same source तो भी देखो, same source में तो यार उस एक ही रे अगर जा रहा है तो उसमें इंटरफेरेंस का सवाल होगा ही नहीं. जब सेम सोर्स यूज करेंगे, we'll do something like this, we'll send the ray to that point through two different paths. You need two different paths, then you'll have a path difference, and then you'll have a phase difference. So when light comes from the same source, it would travel to that point through two different paths. Okay, otherwise you'll have two different sources. So now यहाँ पे geometric path difference कुछ है नहीं first case में, और मतलब x1 minus x2 है, और optical path difference भी फिलहाल same है, क्योंकि इस purple वाले केस में there is no medium change. Medium change है ही नहीं, दोनों both people are running in air. So x1 and x1 minus x2 is the net path difference between them, right? There's no other thing to take into account. जो geometric path difference है वही optical path difference है. जो optical path difference है, that is what behaves as delta x. That is the actual path difference जिससे हम phase difference निकालेंगे. Phase difference निकलता कैसे है? phase difference is k delta x. This is what we have done in sound. Phase difference is k times path difference. So phase difference will be k x1 minus x2. Okay, now please bear in mind that this is allowed to be negative. Don't worry about this being positive or negative. Negative हो सकता है वो. Phase difference of pi means destructive interference. Phase difference of minus pi also means destructive interference. Delta x lambda means constructive. Delta x minus lambda also means constructive, right? Delta x 1.5 lambda is destructive. Delta x minus 1.5 lambda is destructive. 0.5 रहेगा तो destructive. और integral multiple lambda रहेगा तो constructive. So it's okay if these are positive or negative. But just bear in mind that as you're writing this out, it is what versus what, right? For me right now, this is upper A minus lower A. Upper A minus lower A. Okay? वो next point में important होगा, ये ध्यान रखना. The next example में देखो क्या है. Next example में I have introduced the slab in the path of the upper A. I've introduced a slab in the path along the path of the upper A. ठीक है? So इसमें क्या हो रहा है? When the upper A, पहले तो geometric part difference is just you ignore the medium change. ठीक है? Geometric part difference is basically just x1 minus x2. ठीक है? The actual path differences. So upper A minus lower A, upper A x1 दौड़ रहा है, lower A x2 दौड़ रहा है. But we know there is more to this in the real path difference, because ये जब x1 दौड़ रहा है, x1 का एक portion वो उस slab के through दौड़ रहा है, and it's like when you run the same amount in water, you should get more points for that. Running in water is difficult. Okay, so it's not like running in air. So it's as if this guy, having run through water, has had a better workout than this guy. So we need to take into account that medium change. So how do we do that? They go. When the upper ray travels t distance in the slab, right? So when the upper ray travels t distance in the slab, it effectively travels mu t distance in vacuum. Right? That's what we have learned. पानी में 1 meter दौड़ना is like running 20 meters in air. तो वैसे ही बात है यहाँ पे. When the upper ray travels t distance in the slab, it travels mu t distance in vacuum. It's as good as mu t distance in vacuum. So what is the extra distance we should consider the upper rays traveling? Slab के कारण क्या extra distance consider करना चाहिए? तो ये जो length है t, है ना, वो t length को हटा दो, remove that slab वाला portion, तो remove t and replace it with mu t. This is the extra distance he has traveled. Remove t, replace it with mu t. Right? So in addition to whatever he is running, ये जो t वाला portion है, वो t वाले portion को पहले तो वो air में दौड़ नहीं रहा है, तो air से वो t वाला portion हटा दो, और पर अब उस slab में mu t distance दौड़ रहा है, तो उसको mu t की तरह गिनो. So remove t and replace it by mu t. This is how much extra he is traveling. That's how much extra he is traveling. Remove t and replace it with mu t. And if you club the two, this happens to be the final result you get because of a slab. तो slab जिधर भी होता है ना, slab जिस भी रे के पाथ में होगा, slab उस रे के पाथ लेंथ को mu minus 1 into t contribute करेगा. slab जिस रे के पाथ में होगा, उस रे के पाथ लेंथ को mu minus 1 into t contribute करेगा. ठीक है, नीचे भी एक बार देख लो. ऑप्टिकल पाथ डिफरेंस जब मैं लिखूंगा, I could write it two ways. Just a second. ठीक है, so based on what I just said, हाँ, I'll explain again. सुन लो ध्यान से यार. ये जो रे है, अपर रे x1 डिस्टेंस दौड़ रहा है, बट x1 में से t डिस्टेंस वो स्लैब के अंदर दौड़ रहा है, तो एक्चुअली वो स्लैब के बाहर x1 माइनस टी डिस्टेंस दौड़ रहा है, और स्लैब के अंदर, स्लैब के बाहर x1 माइनस टी, और स्लैब के अंदर t। स्लैब के अंदर जो t है वो म्यू t के बराबर है। तो व्हाट इज द टोटल डिस्टेंस दैट द अपर रे हैज ट्रैवल्ड effectively from a phase difference perspective? x1 minus t, x1 minus t outside the slab plus mu t inside the slab, right? Because t inside the slab is equivalent to mu t. तो x1 minus t एयर के कारण और mu t स्लैब के कारण, ये जो mu t minus t को हम t कॉमन ले रहे हैं, and we are writing it like this. We are writing mu t minus t as mu minus 1 times t. Okay? Okay, I'll keep that diagram. ठीक है, we are writing that as mu minus 1 times t. Ultimately, moral of the story में क्या बोल रहा हूँ, स्लैब जिधर भी, जिसके भी पाथ में स्लैब दिख रहा है ना, वो स्लैब के कारण ये फॉर्मूला है, ये एक्स्ट्रा लेंथ ऐड करो, जिधर भी स्लैब दिखेगा ना, स्लैब के कारण ऐसा एक एक्स्ट्रा लेंथ ऐड करो. इमेजिन द स्लैब इज लाइक अ हर्डल, सो बिकॉज द फर्स्ट गाय क्लियर दिस हर्डल, ही गेट्स बोनस पॉइंट्स. कितना? म्यू माइनस 1 इंटू टी, बोनस पॉइंट्स मिलता है. तो पहला जो रनर है उसने एक्चुअली कितना क्या किया, अचीव किया, x1 डिस्टेंस दौड़ा और एक स्लैब के कारण म्यू माइनस 1 टी बोनस पॉइंट्स मिला. This is like this is the upper guy's distance traveled in a way. The lower guy has no slab, तो उसके कारण x2. So that is your path difference. So when I subtract the two, what is my optical path difference? If you can see, it's x1 minus x2 plus mu minus 1t. Okay, x1 minus x2 plus mu minus 1t. So another way of writing this is, I am trying to keep a track of upper guy minus lower guy. तो अपर गाय माइनस लोअर गाय ज्योमेट्रिकली इतना दौड़ रहा है, एंड अपर गाय क्रॉस द स्लैब, तो उसको इसके कारण एक एक्स्ट्रा बोनस मिल गया. अपर गाय क्रॉस द स्लैब, इसके कारण उसको ऐसा एक्स्ट्रा बोनस मिल गया. Had I been writing this the other way, had I been keeping track of lower minus upper, so what would my answer look like? Had I been keeping track of lower ray minus upper ray, so geometrically speaking, I'll write x2 minus x1. This is how this is how much the lower ray is traveling extra. It's okay if this answer is negative, no problem. But lower ray कितना ज्यादा चल रहा है? x2 minus x1, खुद का minus दूसरे का. And उसने hurdle cross किया क्या? नहीं, तो no plus points for him. पर दूसरे ने hurdle cross किया, तो minus points for this guy. Minus mu minus 1t. Yeah, it's just another colorful way of thinking of it. Otherwise, technically, xl minus xu, xl is x2, xu is x1 plus mu minus 1t. U for upper, L for lower. So upper wala is traveling x1 plus mu minus 1t. So if I'm counting lower minus upper, I'll get x2 minus x1 minus mu minus 1 into t. ठीक है, थोड़ा एग्जांपल्स में और इसका एक आदत आ जाए. फाइनली जो भी तरीके से तुम डेल्टा एक्स लिखोगे, अपर माइनस लोअर या लोअर माइनस अपर. अच्छा, इसमें मैंने एक्चुअली क्यों बोला ट्रैक रखो, whether you're writing upper minus lower and lower or lower minus upper. The reason I said keep a track of that is, what you should not do is path difference के लिए ऐसा lazily x2 minus x1 लिख लिया और स्लैब के कारण ऐसा एक mu minus 1t जोड़ दिया और बोल दिया this is my path difference. That's wrong. If you're writing x2 minus x1, that means you are trying to find lower वाला कितना ज्यादा चल रहा है. अब lower wala is not crossing the slab, the upper guy is crossing the slab, so you will have to put a minus sign. Okay, on the other hand, if you're putting a plus sign over here, मतलब तुम किसका effort गिन रहे हो? तुम upper minus lower गिन रहे हो, because upper has crossed the slab. Then you have to make sure this is 1 minus 2. All right, so that's why we keep track of what we are subtracting. We're subtracting upper minus lower, then add a mu minus 1t if the upper guy crosses the slab, subtract a mu minus 1t if the lower guy crosses the slab. Whichever way you write delta x, लोअर माइनस अपर लिखो या अपर माइनस लोअर लिखो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. एट द एंड whichever way you write delta x, multiply that with k to get delta phi. Multiply that with k to get delta phi. Delta phi is your phase difference. It doesn't matter ये पॉजिटिव है या नेगेटिव है. ये अगर 2 पाई का मल्टीपल होगा, that is 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, minus 2 pi, minus 4 pi, minus 6 pi, 2 pi का कोई भी मल्टीपल होगा, you know your sine graph, ठीक है. 2 pi का कोई भी मल्टीपल होगा, then your phase difference will be I mean your resultant interference will be constructive. but अगर वो 2 pi का odd multiple होगा, then your phase difference your interference will be disruptive. Okay, आगे और देखेंगे इसी एग्जांपल्स. नहीं गौरव आई होप यू गॉट इट. मतलब phase differences in general k delta x, ये रटेंगे नहीं, I'm just demonstrating, but phase differences in general k delta x. हाँ, so whichever way you write it, xu minus xl or xl minus xu, that'll be your phase difference. तुम्हें फाइनली आंसर नेगेटिव आंसर पसंद नहीं है तो फाइनली आंसर का मॉड लेना है तो ले सकते हो. that's fine. Okay, we'll do some practice on this. Let me know if you're ready for some questions. Yeah, you can. Yes, you're right. You can write in any manner. The only thing I'm saying is just be careful of ये चीज कि ये इन सिंक होना चाहिए, या तो ये होना चाहिए या इसका नेगेटिव होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कि ज्योमेट्रिक डिस्टेंस तुमने अपर माइनस लोअर लिखा, बट लेंस का ये जो स्लैब का इफेक्ट है तुमने उसमें लोअर माइनस अपर लिखा. सो जस्ट कीप ट्रैक ऑफ दैट. वॉच आउट फॉर दैट. Which I think you guys in a way got. All right. Try these two questions out. Okay, so I have two sources. Okay, this is the point at which I have to interfere the light coming from these two coherent sources. Okay, they're coherent. As you can see, इनके बीच में separation, I think दोनों diagram में 6 lambda है. In fact, geometrically it's the same situation, 8 lambda, 8 lambda. Okay, and यहाँ पे आई एम टेलिंग यू कि यहाँ पे मैंने एक स्लैब डाला है जिसका रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स इज 5, वेवलेंथ इज लैम्डा बाय 2. और यहाँ पे मैंने 2 स्लैब डाला है. वेवलेंथ नहीं, ये थिकनेस है. ठीक है, थिकनेस इज लैम्डा बाय 2, माय बैड. और सेकंड डायग्राम में भी 2 स्लैब डाला है. पहले का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स 5.5 एंड थिकनेस लैम्डा बाय 3, दूसरे का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स 3 and thickness lambda by 4. Lambda is the wavelength of light used. Okay, so find geometric path difference, optical path difference, and phase difference for both. Okay, solve the first one and let me know if you're getting it. Um, Gaurav, let me just your first GPD is correct. ओ, एक मिनट. हाँ, yes, ये lambda/3 है. lambda/3. गौरव, हाँ, GPD सही है. OPD is also correct. And naturally, वहां से yes, phase difference also correct. Yes, your answer is also correct. Yes, Prithvi, yes, yours is correct. I think most of you should have solved A by now. You can move on to B as well. Very similar. Purna, just a minute. Yes, Purna, yours is correct. Sure, those who are getting the second one, please continue solving. Diagrams still will be visible on this page. Okay. Let me just explain first one once. So, in the meanwhile, second वाला जिनको आ रहा है continue कर लो. तो यहाँ पे क्या है ना? Think of this as a race. Imagine, these are two competitors, and both want to see, am I working harder than the other one? Am I working harder than the other one? So, if I talk about the geometric part difference, only distance wise, what is the difference in the two distances these two guys ran? So the first guy ran 10 lambda. वो of course दिया नहीं है उतना, but बहुत easy है. Pythagoras theorem से you can get the hypotenuse is 10 lambda. So the first guy runs 10 lambda. Note, I'm keeping a track of what I am subtracting with what. So therefore I always do this. I label my delta x as x upper minus x lower. And that's going to be a little important later on as well, to be a little organized and be aware of what minus what you're subtracting. So I'm subtracting upper minus lower, and I'm trying to see upper wala kitna mehnat kar raha hai in comparison to lower wala kitna mehnat kar raha hai. Like imagine this is a race, in that sense. So upper wala 10 lambda दौड़ रहा है, lower wala सिर्फ 8 lambda दौड़ रहा है. On top of that, it's like the upper fellow has crossed this hurdle, right? So since I'm counting how the upper wala is doing relatively, I need to give the upper guy a bonus for crossing that hurdle. Kitna hai wo bonus? Mu minus 1 into t. Okay? Yes, Prithvi, yes. mu minus 1, phi minus 1 into t. T is lambda by 2. Okay. 5 minus 1 is 4 by 2 is 2. So 2 lambda is 5 minus 1 lambda by 2. Yes, Yash. And the first one, 10 lambda minus 8 lambda is also 2 lambda, which अब इसमें जो ये जो आंसर आ रहा है 4 lambda. ओके, ये एक्चुअली मैंने क्या किया, ये मैंने पूरा ऑप्टिकल पाथ डिफरेंस ही निकाल दिया है, दैट इज 4 lambda. ठीक है, ये पूरा जो पार्ट अभी सॉल्व करके जो आया है दैट इज माय ऑप्टिकल पाथ डिफरेंस. ठीक है, जो दौड़ रहा है प्लस स्लैब का इफेक्ट, दैट इज द ऑप्टिकल पाथ डिफरेंस. ऑन द अदर हैंड, only this part is my geometric part difference. So without the bonus, without the effect of the slab, the actual difference between the two lengths is 2 lambda. But because of the slab, it changes, bumps up to 4 lambda. So 4 lambda is the optical part difference. Optical part difference is the one which finally decides our phase difference. Phase difference is k delta x. K is 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi by lambda into delta x, that makes it 8 pi. Okay, that makes it 8 pi. It's rare that somebody might have done lower minus upper, but if you have performed lower, if you used lower minus upper, you would have accordingly gotten the answers as minus 2 lambda, minus 4 lambda, minus 8 pi. See, in the end, it doesn't make a big difference. 8 pi minus 8 pi are the same from a phase perspective. They, of course, mean the same. All right, coming to the second question. Second question, yes, Yash, that's correct. Nice. Gaurav also, that's correct. The second question, mein, again, ab dekho, both these people are in a way crossing hurdles, hai na? Both are passing through a slab. So I'm going to keep track of how the upper guy is doing. Upper guy ka performance minus lower guy ka performance, I'm keeping track of that. Upper fellow is geometrically running 2 lambda more, because वो 10 lambda दौड़ रहा है, दूसरा 8 lambda दौड़ रहा है, so geometrically is running 2 lambda more. The upper guy is crossing a hurdle, है ना? तो upper का relative performance देख रहा है, तो वो hurdle cross कर रहा है, तो उसके कारण उसको एक bonus मिलेगा for the hurdle he has crossed. Okay, the 5.5 minus 1, t minus 1 into, rather mu minus 1 into t is the extra path length that the upper ray travels because of the slab. Mu minus 1 into t is the extra path length the upper ray travels because of the slab. So it will be 5.5 minus 1 into lambda by 3. And this guy is also crossing a hurdle. So he should get a bonus of 3 minus 1 into lambda by 4. So in fact, 3 minus 1 into lambda by 4 is the extra path that the lower ray is traveling because of the lower slab. Since I'm counting upper ray ka path length minus lower ray ka path length, जितना lower ray extra travel कर रहा है वो एक minus sign के साथ चला जाएगा, जितना upper ray ज्यादा travel कर रहा है वो plus sign के साथ चला जाएगा. So that deciding whether you put a minus sign or a plus sign, for that you need to be aware of what you are finding when you write 10 lambda minus 8 lambda. So as I write 10 lambda minus 8 lambda, I make a mental note, I'm writing upper minus lower. So any extra length for the upper ray will go with a plus sign, any extra length for the lower ray will go with a minus sign. Got it? And I've indicated that this is for XL and that one is for XU. All right. I hope you guys don't have a doubt in that. We can simplify this result. 10 minus 8 is 2 lambda. मैं actually optical part difference technically निकाल रहा हूँ. I'm including everything. So 10 minus 8 is 2 lambda. 5.5 minus 1 is 4.5. 4.5 by 3 is 3 by 2. So that second term is 3 lambda by 2, and this is 2 by 4. So that's minus lambda by 2. So 2 lambda plus 3 lambda by 2 minus lambda by 2. 3 by 2 minus half is 1. So that becomes the total of 3 lambda. ये actually मैं optical part difference निकाल रहा था. तो ये जो final answer आया, this is the actual part difference. Okay, this is the actual part difference taking into account the slabs and the medium change. So optical part difference is 3 lambda. And yes, GPD में we don't take into account the slabs. तो GPD का एक्चुअली कुछ सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है, ये बस उन्होंने सामने से पूछा ज्योमेट्रिक पार्ट डिफरेंस निकाल दो, तो यू शुड नो व्हाट द टर्म मींस. ज्योमेट्रिक पार्ट डिफरेंस ओनली ज्योमेट्रिकली द डिफरेंस है ना, तो ये ऑप्टिक्स का सवाल भी नहीं हुआ वैसा. ज्योमेट्रिक पार्ट डिफरेंस इज 2 लैम्डा, but it has no significance as such. Okay, what is really important is the optical part difference. So multiply 3 lambda with k. So multiply 3 lambda with 2 pi by lambda. Okay, multiply 3 lambda with 2 pi by lambda, and you will get the answer as 6 pi. Okay, and just to make you aware, I mean, so that you can do certain things orally. ये जो lambda है, when I'm multiplying it with 2 pi by lambda, what am I doing? I'm cancelling lambda and replacing with 2 pi. Okay, multiplication with 2 pi by lambda मतलब lambda हटा के 2 pi डालना. That is a shortcut. I mean, that you can even just orally, you don't even have to multiply this 2 pi by lambda. When you want to go from a path difference to a phase difference, just replace lambda with 2 pi. Lambda is one entire wavelength. From an angle perspective, what is that entire wavelength? 2 pi. No, so lambda is 2 pi, equivalent to 2 pi. तो ज्यादा बहुत सिंपल है, कभी ऐसा इतना भी करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Like when I was cross-checking answers, that was all I was doing. I'm sure some of you guys did it as well. 3 lambda आते ही lambda को सिर्फ 2 pi से replace किया 6 pi. It's that easy. Okay, it's that easy. यहाँ पे भी पिछले वाले में भी एक सेकंड ना, पिछले वाले में भी 4 lambda आते ही lambda को 2 pi से replace किया 8 pi. So that's a phase difference. Okay, got it? In 5 minutes, I just want to maybe start reading the next page. Okay. I don't think this is. Are you guys able to read it, or is it too small? I think it'll help if I reduce the size 20 and zoom in. Is this better? Better? Okay, great. All right, so let's just read this once. So like the transmitted pulse in waves on a string. 5 minutes, let's see कितना समझ में आता है. Like the transmitted pulse in waves on a string was never inverted. Similarly, when light hits an interface, the transmitted wave suffers no phase change. So what am I really talking about over here? I'm trying to draw a parallel with what we did in waves on a string. Okay, the idea is going to be actually very similar. Waves on a string pe reflection and brilliant. The reflection and transmission mein, if you remember when we finally got the value for 80 was always positive. This guy was never negative. मतलब अपना transmitted wave हमेशा upright होता था. There was only a doubt of whether the reflected pulse, you can read this once, reflected pulse, एक बार ये पढ़ के उधर जाता है. Reflected pulse कब invert होता है? When the pulse is going from a light string to a heavier string. तो जब rarer से denser medium में जाते हो तब reflected pulse invert होता है. कैसे याद करना है? एक्सट्रीम केस कर लो, when the other medium is एकदम heavy, it's like a fixed end, तो लाइट से हेवी जाना मतलब लगभग फिक्स्ड एंड की तरह रिफ्लेक्शन, तो उसमें इन्वर्ट होता है, लाइट से हेवी में जाते वक्त इन्वर्ट होता है। क्या इन्वर्ट होता है? रिफ्लेक्टेड पल्स इन्वर्ट होता है, ठीक है। एंड हेवी से लाइट जाते वक्त, हेवी के लिए वो लाइट स्ट्रिंग एक फ्री एंड की तरह है, तो हेवी से लाइट में जाते वक्त रिफ्लेक्टेड पल्स अपराइट रहता है, बिकॉज इन द फ्री एंड देयर इज नो इन्वर्जन, in the fixed end there is inversion. So heavy से light, no inversion, light to heavy, inversion. और किसके लिए inversion? Reflected pulse के लिए। Transmitted pulse के लिए कभी भी inversion होता ही नहीं है, okay? Transmitted pulse is always upright. So with that we are drawing a parallel over here, ठीक है। Derivations will all be similar, एकदम वैसा ही होगा, so we don't want to get into that same derivation again, but we'll just build on what we have seen there. And remember the result key, when like the transmitted pulse in waves on a string was never inverted, वैसा ही light, when light hits an interface, the transmitted wave suffers no sudden phase change. That's good. Transmitted wave, no sudden phase change, no inversion, no sudden phase change, no inversion for the transmitted pulse. What about the reflected pulse? When the reflected pulse goes from a heavier to a lighter string, like the free end, you know, like similar to a free end, that pulse did not suffer any inversion. हेवी से लाइट स्ट्रिंग में जब जा रहा था वो फ्री एंड की तरह था, और तभी इन्वर्जन नहीं होता था रिफ्लेक्टेड पल्स में भी। तो सिमिलरली व्हेन लाइट रिफ्लेक्ट्स, बोल्ड में जो लिखा है, फाइनली व्हेन लाइट रिफ्लेक्ट्स ऑफ अ रेयरर मीडियम, ओके, ऑफ अ रेयरर मीडियम मतलब वो हेवियर डेंसर से रेयरर जब जा रहा था, it undergoes no sudden phase change. So when light reflects off a rarer medium, maybe I'll, just be a little bit more specific. So when light incident from a denser medium, okay, heavier medium में था, when light incident from a denser medium reflects off a rarer medium, it's going to be similar to heavy string, light string. In such a case, there is no phase change. तो डेंसर से जब वो रेयरर पे इंसिडेंट होता है और तब जब रिफ्लेक्ट होता है, इट्स लाइक अ फ्री एंड रिफ्लेक्शन, देयर विल बी नो फेज चेंज, देयर विल बी नो फेज चेंज। लेट्स मेक फ्री एंड एज वेल बोल्ड, it's like a free end, no phase change. On the other hand, when the reflected pulse from a lighter to a heavier string, वो fixed end की तरह, that suffers an inversion, ना, जिस तरीके से reflected pulse from a lighter string to a heavier string suffers an inversion, similarly, and the reason it suffers an inversion is because then that behaves like a fixed end. Oh, come on, yaar. Okay, the way that suffers an inversion, तो ये एक important point याद करना है, एक ही जगह पे light invert होता है when light reflects off a denser medium, it undergoes a sudden phase change of pi radians or an optical path difference of lambda by 2. When light reflects off a denser medium, just like a string reflecting off a heavier string, or a string attached to a heavy wall, fixed end ki tarah, when light reflects off a denser medium, it undergoes a sudden phase change of pi radians or an optical path difference of lambda by 2. ठीक है, sudden phase change. Inversion मतलब pi से change होना, sudden inversion मतलब phase change by pi, positive extreme के जगह negative extreme पे होना, that's a phase change of pi. The phase change of pi can also be looked at as a path difference of lambda by 2. So if light is bouncing off a denser medium, what you will do if light reflects off a denser medium, you can incorporate a path difference of lambda by 2 because it bounced off a denser medium. So you have to incorporate a path difference of lambda by 2. It's your choice whether you want to add or subtract this from the reflected ray. फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना, add करो या subtract करो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So it's your choice whether you want to add lambda by 2 or subtract lambda by 2 from the reflected ray. I'll perhaps stop over here and maybe take up this example in the next class. Or maybe you guys can try this example at home. But do you remember me making a deal of this in the sound chapter? Sound chapter में एकदम clearly last point में मैंने समझाया कि sound में phase difference नहीं आता है when sound bounces off a wall. Now saying there's a reason I'm saying this. There's a reason I'm saying this because when light bounces off a wall, phase difference आता है. In fact, when light bounces off any denser medium, phase difference आता है. In all other cases, phase difference नहीं आता. Light bouncing off a denser medium में phase difference आता है, inversion आता है. उस inversion के कारण हम उसके पाथ में lambda by 2 जोड़ते हैं. तो तुम ये सवाल we are meeting tomorrow. ये सवाल बस एक बार just try कर लो. I'll of course explain this and maybe repeat some of these points and move ahead. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow. In the meanwhile, कुछ लोग को कुछ doubt पूछना था. Please ask those doubts. We'll get that cleared. Those who want to leave can leave. Yeah. And those who haven't seen the HCV discussion, we have some doubts in the HCV. Please have a look at that. In fact, we'll try to do this every Wednesday. If the timetable stays the way it is, we keep Wednesdays for doubt discussions. Try this page 8 wala question at home. Okay? Stop here. हाँ, किसी को कुछ पूछना था? Who was it? Doubt from the last question. Sound, I think. I think neither of those two are here. Never mind that. Okay, chalo, bye-bye. Any doubts in what was taught today? Then please get those cleared. What does the last line signify? So this like क्या होता है? So if I want to talk about path length when light reflects off a wall, तो obviously एक तो ये जो actual geometric path length है वो तो मैं I'll take into account the actual path length that it travels. But then on top of that, we know कि when it rebounds off a wall, it undergoes an inversion. Inversion is like a sudden phase change of pi, or it's like a sudden path change of lambda by 2, right? Light should have been at this phase, it's now at this phase. So it's almost like हमने एक split second में ये जो wave है उसको या तो पीछे lambda by 2 से drag किया या आगे lambda by 2 से drag किया, if you can imagine it that way. The sudden inversion is like at that point it's gone ahead in phase in it's got ahead by a distance lambda by 2 magically. वैसा effect है sudden phase change का. So what I'm saying is, तो optical path difference अगर तुम लिखने जाओगे ऐसे रे के लिए, तुम बोलोगे x1 plus you need to take into account a sudden inversion. So you can either add lambda by 2 or you can subtract lambda by 2 to the path difference. Because add करना या subtract करना फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It ultimately will imply the correct phase. right? 3 lambda, 2 lambda, they imply the same phase. 3 lambda, 2 lambda implies the same phase. So if anything is a multiple of lambda apart, it implies the same phase. Yeah, cool. तो ये ट्राई करो विद एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ये थोड़ा काफी, इनफैक्ट ये काफी अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. ट्राई दिस. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Okay. Bye.